is the ultimate travel guide from the people who know it best. Weekends with Yankee.
I'm at the beautiful Ocean House in Westerly, Rhode Island, and we are having a proper nor'easter storm. Now, these storms are dramatic, but they're also really beautiful, and this is just very cozy coffee weather for me. Now, coffee is the subject of today because I'm going to be visiting one of my favorite roasters, Dave's Coffee. And there I'm going to learn how they roast their beans and make one of their iconic ingredients, which is coffee syrup. Hello.
Hello.
Are you Dave?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Amy.
Hi, Amy.
So nice to meet you. So we wanted to come visit you because I love your coffee and I love your coffee syrup.
Thank you.
Also, you know, Rhode Island has this unique culture around coffee.
Yes.
I'm thinking of like coffee milk, coffee ice cream, the coffee cabinet. Why is that? Why does Rhode Island have such a relationship with
I don't know. Being a Rhode Islander myself, I know, like, from the time you go to school, you're always offered, like, white milk, chocolate milk, and coffee milk.
Yeah.
So I think from an early age, people are just, like, used to coffee. And
Right.
it just grows on them as they get older and becomes part of their life.
I wonder if it was sort of like, we got to get these kids hyped up
Yeah,
to go
right.
work in the factory. Let's give them coffee milk.
You know, the coffee syrup goes back to the 30s. I don't know if you know the story
no,
of
I'd love
coffee
to hear
syrup.
it.
They traced it back to a soda fountain in a pharmacy.
Oh.
And they used the old coffee and sweetened it with sugar.
Right.
And mixed it with milk because they were looking for something for, like, the kids that would come in.
Yeah.
And that was the first, like, iteration of coffee syrup.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you make with your coffee and your coffee syrup?
Yeah, we do a really popular coffee milk latte.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'd love one of those.
All right,
Thank you.
great. Here you go.
Thank you. Oh, what a
You're
pretty, oh, that's
welcome.
gorgeous. Okay, let's take a little sip. Mmm. Oh my God,
So
it's like
good,
a
right?
childhood treat of my dreams, but grown up, and I love it. I love it. This is so great.
Good.
Okay, well, I've tasted the magic. Can we go take a look at how you make the magic?
Of course.
Okay, great.
Let's go.
I'll follow you.
This is our receiving area where we get in our green beans.
Okay.
Some Brazilian coffee here that's ready to roast.
Okay.
And this is our production room where we actually do the roasting.
It smells really good, and that's a
Yes.
very pretty roaster.
So right now, the beans are inside the machine, they're roasting, and it's about a minute and a half or so before Mike, like, releases the beans into the cooling tray. So once the beans are let out, the fan goes on and it cools them. It's kind of like blanching vegetables.
Oh, right.
So you want to
so
stop
put
the
them in the
roasting.
ice water. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
You don't want them
but you don't want to
keep
put
on-
them in water.
Yeah.
Then you're making coffee.
Right.
Smells so nice.
Yeah. Like, if you grab some, they're still hot,
Ooh.
but it's really
Smells so
once
good.
you grind
Is it
them.
okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Woo.
They're still warm.
Oh, wow. But then when you dry them,
When you grind them, that really
grind them,
releases
yeah.
the fragrance and the flavors.
so this is just one of the varieties you grind here?
Yes.
Could I taste some of them?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
So this is our cupping table.
Okay. Can you walk me through the whole process of cupping?
Sure. So after we grind each sample of the coffee, we pour boiling water into each cup, and it steeps for 4 minutes. And after that steeping process is done, we take a spoon, and with the back of the spoon, it's called breaking the crust because the coffee rises to the top and
Right.
creates like this crust on there. So at that point, you break the crust and smell again. So you'll break the crust, smell, and you get another really good opportunity to appreciate the aroma. And then after that, you scrape the coffee off and put it in a dish. And then with a spoon, you take a little spoon, and that's where you hit like the slurping, almost
Yeah.
like a wine tasting where you're like,
Yep.
you know? So you do that because you want to aerate your palate, and also it kind of like sprays the coffee into your mouth as opposed to like if you were just to drink it from the cup.
Right.
So it hits all of your taste buds in your mouth.
Oh, okay.
And then you can get a much more accurate like taste of the coffee.
This has been so much fun, and I
Good.
love just seeing the whole process.
Yes.
So I'm going to be meeting with a pastry chef now to make some amazing things with your coffee. Could I get some coffee syrup to go?
Yes, sounds great.
So Chef Mayo, what are we making today?
So today we're making an opera cake. This is a sort of low layered French torte created originally for the Paris Opera, which is why it's called opera cake. It has almond, coffee, and chocolate together, a wonderful combination.
Nice. Okay, so we went earlier today to Dave's Coffee. I thought it would be fun to go from the sort of simple cup of coffee to this beautiful, elaborate dessert from France. Let's talk through this cake.
So first we're going to create a Gioconde cake, which is a almond flour sponge cake. We're gonna layer it into 3 different layers, very, very, very thin.
Okay.
And then create a buttercream with the coffee extract from Dave's Coffee.
Oh, okay.
Coffee simple syrup, ganache, and then we're going to layer them into a cake. Honestly, one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, I'm so glad. I can't wait to make it. Okay, so this is something I actually am eager to ask you about because as I understand it, a lot of baking recipes will talk about sifted flour, and in some cases that's really necessary. But if it's an older recipe, it often had to do more with the fact that flour was less fine back then.
Okay, so here's the thing, is that there are certain things you always have to sift.
Right.
And almond flour and powdered sugar
Right.
are 2 of them.
Yes.
Cocoa powder is the other one.
Okay.
Absolutely. Baking soda, always clumps.
Yep.
Always have to sift it.
That makes sense.
But a lot of flours, it really depends upon the recipe.
Yeah.
You know, and what's going to happen to it later. Actually, speaking of flour, we could use that AP flour that's right
Okay.
there too. So that we're gonna build it in the ring mold.
So this, it's funny because you hear ring mold and you think circle, but this is a bigger type of ring mold for, I'm sure, a professional kitchen.
Cutting around the edges. Obviously, nobody at home is probably going to have one of these, but you can always just layer it without one. This keeps the
Edges super clean.
edges super clean. Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna take our chocolate glaze or pâte à glacé. We're gonna spread a very thin layer.
And so this is made with chocolate and
oil, and it just basically it makes it so that you don't have to temper the chocolate.
but it stays glossy.
And it stays glossy. It still has a nice snap to it. So this case, it's just acting as a base for our cake. We're actually going to take what we have here and turn it upside down.
Oh, wow.
Next step is the simple syrup.
So simple syrup is just water and sugar.
That's
in
right.
Equal
parts
proportions.
water, sugar, and
Okay.
that's what makes it simple. We're gonna add a little bit of the, and by a little I mean a lot,
Making it a more complex syrup.
with 3 components now
Right.
of the coffee simple syrup. Last layer,
Okay.
the top of the opera.
I was going to make a Phantom of the Opera joke, but it doesn't work at all. So this is a cake that you've already chilled, and
Yes.
it's really beautiful and nicely. It's just like all settled into itself. Okay, so let's see the couverture.
All right, so we're going for it. And
And then you're oh, that's beautiful.
so our last kind of step here is to decorate it.
Okay.
And usually when you do that, the classical opera way to decorate is you either put gold leaf on it or you literally write opera on top of it in
I've
chocolate.
seen it that way.
Yes.
So I've tasted so many great coffee things today, and now I get to taste the masterpiece.
It's still one of my favorites.
The chocolate coffee almond, just simple and amazing, and everything enhances everything else.
It's a really delicious dessert. I don't know what to tell you.
Those French know something, huh?
I think they do.